Let's talk today about Roman Roy, an extremely conflicted character in the fantastic series called Succession. Specifically, at what point do you think Roman Roy realizes his place in the scheme of things? He's had some immense failures during the multiple episodes and the multiple seasons of the series. Some that come to mind are in season one, where he is part of a leadership conversation about how to deal with the cruise ship crisis that the company is going through, and he tries to downplay that incident. He tries to downplay the seriousness of that incident, much to the surprise of his colleagues and his family. And that shows his lack of understanding, general lack of business acumen, and a complete lack of judgment. In season 2, there is a scene where Roman is trying to pitch a new digital venture to the board of the company. It's called Waystar Digital. He seems so underconfident. When the board presses him on the details of the feasibility of his plan, it shows his complete lack of depth. And that whole incident leaves him a bit shaken, leaves him a bit humiliated, because obviously his idea also gets rejected. In season 2, there's another scene which I feel is the most spectacular and visual illustration of his failures. That's when one of his rockets failed to launch. I think it was in Japan. And just that scene of Roman looking at his phone and seeing the rocket launch and then explode as soon as it launches, and his reaction to it, where he is visibly shaken and quietly terrified, is just so telling. In the aftermath of that incident, he also handles a press conference, which is not too bad. He does okay, but he fails to show up as a leader in crisis, and that's a big lost opportunity. There is a scene in season 3 which I feel is probably one of the best scenes in the series. And this is where Roman, his dad, Logan Roy, both of them travel to meet this guy called Mattson, who is the founder of Gojo, a company that the Roys are trying to acquire. And they are trying to figure out where Mattson's head is at. And Mattson is being his usual flamboyant self. You can see that Logan, while he has some disdain towards Mattson's over-the-top personality, he's also quietly impressed by him. Perhaps Mattson was the kind of guy that Logan wanted his sons, including Roman, to be. But anyway, at some point in time in that scene, Mattson proposes that Mattson, becomes the CEO of the combined entity. Now, as an audience member, as well as Roman, who is no more than a passive audience member in this entire conversation, you probably expect Logan to scoff at the idea, to laugh at the idea, to just get up and go or call Mattson names. Logan does scoff at the idea, but not as convincingly as Roman or the audience would have expected him to. And he even follows it up with some questions for Mattson. Mattson is probably also taken aback at Logan's timid response, but he does not let it show. And he talks about how he's going to structure the board in a very nice manner so that Logan can maintain his stature, his privileges, his position, as well as his command over some of his favorite assets in the conglomerate. Now, this scene shows that Logan has no confidence in Roman or his siblings' ability to manage the company. Do you think at this point in time Roman realized where this conversation was going and where he stood in his dad's eyes in terms of the pecking order for a leadership position in the company? Perhaps, perhaps not. It's hard to say. But such is the dilemma that Roman goes through pretty much throughout the season. He is constantly struggling to get respect for himself, to be heard, and to be seen as someone who can be a potential leader. And he's got this conflict because despite all these moments of failures, there's also been moments of validation. Like there's this one scene in season 1 where the Walter acquisition is being questioned by Logan Roy. And he calls Roman as well as his elder brother Kendall into the room and asks them what to do about Walter. Kendall gives a very nuanced response, talks about the importance of being in the digital space, talks about the importance of keeping up with the times, and says that he can make something of Walter and make it a productive asset given some time and effort. Roman, perhaps just to take a contrarian view than his elder brother, says something extremely maverick style, saying, Walter is a complete waste of time and let's just dump it. Logan, surprisingly, goes with Roman and asks Kendall to shut down Walter. What an amazing moment of validation that would have been for Roman. But he probably did not realize it came from all the wrong places. Logan was probably taking that decision just to show Kendall his place in the scheme of things and to show the proverbial baap kaun hai, because that acquisition was spearheaded by Kendall. How many times would these situations also happen to us, where we give out some ideas in some meetings and we get validation from the powers to be, and that gives us a lot of confidence, only to see that some days or some weeks or some months down the line, a similar line of thinking gets shut down by the same people? That is the beauty of Succession, where every character is so relatable as a human being. You might not relate to them all the time, but you probably can relate to every character at some point in time in the series.